To anyone who is watching this video, I'll be talking about The Way Back by Gavriel Savit. It's a historical fantasy novel that follows two teenagers, Yehuda Leib and Bluma, as they journey through the land of the dead. The story has this haunting, mystical vibe with some heavy themes and a unique writing style. I'll go over the plot, share what I liked and didn't like, talk about the way it's written, and give my final rating. Yehuda Leib from Tupik and Bluma from Zabinsk are two Jewish teens who end up getting pulled into the far country, the land of the dead, after separate encounters with death. Yehuda Leib meets this mysterious stranger who turns out to be Death, and he takes Yehuda's father. Not willing to accept that, Yehuda follows Death into the far country to get back what was stolen. Meanwhile, in Zabinsk, Bluma has this weird encounter with the old woman, who's actually Death in disguise, who also drops a silver spoon. When Bluma picks it up, it won't let go of her, and she realizes it can erase people's identities. She gets caught up in the mystery and, before she knows it, follows it into the unknown. As they travel through strange places filled with spirits, demons, and powerful rulers, they go through trials that test their understanding of fate and identity. Eventually, they meet at a ghostly wedding in Zabinsk, where Yehuda first wants to defeat Death, but then realizes that Death isn't something to fight. It's something to understand. In the end, they both find their way back to the living by retracing their steps, forever changed by what they've been through. Here's what I really liked about the book. The setting of the far country is fantastic. It feels like this strange and beautiful nightmare that drew me into the story. The themes of grief and acceptance really got to me. It made me think a lot about how I handle loss and how we all have to come to terms with it eventually. I really enjoyed the supernatural elements like the demons and spirits. They made the story feel unpredictable and kind of like a myth. Now, here's a few things I didn't like as much about the book. So the pacing was slow in some parts. Like, there were times where things just felt like they dragged on for too long. Also, some parts were hard to follow, or it just wasn't explained very well, especially near the end. And the ending left a lot of things unanswered. Like, personally, I wanted more closure, but I know some people like when things are left open for interpretation of their own. Now let's talk about how the book is written. The story switches between Yehuda and Bluma's perspectives, which gave me a chance to experience both of their journeys from their own viewpoints. The writing has a poetic, dreamlike style that made everything feel surreal. And there were moments when it was hard to tell what was real. Time in the story doesn't always follow a clear order, which added to the mysterious vibe that kept me engaged. The figurative language is strong, making the story feel almost like a legend or a timeless tale. The book covers big themes like grief and loss, showing how we cope with death and learn to accept it. It also explores fate versus free will, like questioning if we control our lives or if things are already decided for us. The book touches on identity and memory, asking what defines us and how we want to be remembered. These themes are still really relevant today when it comes to understanding loss and finding meaning in life. So this is my final rating of The Way Back. I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. The setting, themes, and writing style are beautifully done, but the slow pacing and occasional confusion hold it back from being a perfect read. If you're into deep, thought-provoking fantasy with a unique style, this book is worth checking out. And this book, this Alex Book Award, is not as fun to read as a random book off the shelf in the KHS library, but that's probably just me, so yeah. Well, that is my review of The Way Back. It's definitely a book, an Alex Award book, but like I said, if you're into something that's thought-provoking with a mix of fantasy, definitely go and check that out. And thank you for listening to me talk about this book by Gavriel Savit.